What's going on there, everyone? Alright, today we're going to focus on a story from the Daily Caller, and we're going to go a little bit probably beyond. But, yeah, I've made numerous videos about the border and everything that's going on there, and still we have pretty much no action. It's all inaction. But let's get into this story. Democratic mayor. We are sick and tired of government inaction on illegal immigration. The Democratic mayor of a border town in Texas says more federal politicians need to journey to the U.S.-Mexico border to see just how bad the illegal immigration crisis has become. Mayor Bruno Lozano of Del Rio told Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn's office that we are sick and tired of the deaf ears. The accounts of the border crisis seem to fall upon, Fox News reported Tuesday. Lozano suggested that federal government has left border towns hanging out to dry as they try to cope with the influx of illegal immigrants who apparently cross the border, are temporarily detained, and then released. He said it is easy to ignore the situation when politicians are isolated in Washington. Well, among other things. They need to see firsthand what's going on. They need to understand the frustrations that the commissioners and that the city council, school board, and hospital officials are managing and having to deal with. Lozano said, according to Fox's account of the meeting between the mayor and Cornyn's staffers. The mayor said the small towns can't cope with the large amount of immigration problems because it is not our purview. It is not our jurisdiction. Excuse me. We're frustrated. We're extremely frustrated, he continued. Our priorities on the city council are our streets, our parks, our economy, are the drive of the community and the places of worship and the places to have leisure activities. It is not the priority to solve immigration, which I understand. That's kind of what we have a federal government for, is to help situations out that the states are facing. But he said Washington doesn't seem to be listening. It's falling on deaf ears, and we are tired of it. We are sick and tired of the deaf ears. Well, I understand that frustration. Lozano's frustration comes at a time when Border Patrol agents are reporting being overwhelmed by the number of migrants illegally crossing the border. Before he was appointed Acting Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, then U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Kevin K. McAleenan said the situation at the border has reached a breaking point as he inspected the El Paso, Texas crossing, according to the El Paso Times. DHS is projecting that if the current trend continues, 2019 will be the worst year for illegal immigration from the southern border in a decade. President Donald Trump reached a deal with Mexico this month that could ameliorate the pressure. After warning he would place a 5% tariff on all Mexican goods, American neighbors to the south agreed to better police its borders and to dedicate more resources to prevent illegal border crossings. And it wasn't just a 5% tariff, it was a 5% increase pretty much every month up until 25%. So it would have really have hurt Mexico. It would have, it definitely would have had some strain on our economy also, because we do get a lot of things from Mexico, but it would have hurt them a lot more, and they figured that out. CBP reports that since the beginning of June, over 500 people apparently immigrating from Africa have been detained around the town of Del Rio, excuse me. And yes, it's over 500 that since it's the beginning of June, and those are just the people that they've caught. Yes, and I will say something. The people that are coming from the what is it, the Democratic Republic of Congo or something, they are actually real asylum seekers. They are leaving a war-torn and ravaged area. I mean, it's pretty awful over there. I mean, it's really awful over there. Civil War has claimed so many lives. I think there's been over 300,000 people displaced, and who knows how many thousands killed because of the civil wars that keep going on in that area. But another thing to mention about the people coming over from the Congo is this is where the worst Ebola epidemic in modern history is currently taking place. That needs to be a major concern, because once these people get here, who knows? I'm not saying that anyone has came across with any of these really bad, like, communicable diseases. There's been no real reports of that, like of Ebola and whatnot. But that should be a big concern, because Ebola is a serious, serious illness that is spread just by talking to someone. If a little piece of their spit gets on you, you can catch Ebola real quick, and it spreads very rapidly. But yeah, so that's a little piece from the Daily Caller, which there's been one party that has pretty much been saying from the get-go, we need to do something about this. Yeah, there's one party that's hampering this. Who's that? It's the Democrats. The Republicans have been stressing the border issue. Everyone knows I'm a Trump supporter. I don't care about the wall. I don't. What I care about is actual border security. Boots on the ground, these people having the resources they need, the financial resources they need to properly deal with the influx. There's just so many people. People know what's going on in America. These people know that there is a giant rift in Washington about what to do about the border crisis. You have the Republicans saying we need to do something, and then you got the Democrats saying, hey, this is evil. What we're doing is evil. And then you got my most loved Democrat. Switch over to Newsweek. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says U.S. is running concentration camps on our southern border. This is just some of, I'm going to go through some of the quotes. I'm not going to go through the whole article because it's ridiculous. New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has accused the Trump administration of running concentration camps on our southern border, branding the government as a fascist regime. No, absolutely not. First off, a lot of the left are more fascist, and this is a fact. It's a provable fact. And I might end up making another video on this because I've already touched on this before. They are much more fascistic than people on the right, conservatives. But I'll digress from that. Another quote. The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border, and that is exactly what they are. Ocasio-Cortez said in an Instagram live stream on Monday. They are concentration camps. Another quote, I want to talk to the people that are concerned enough with humanity to say that we should not. That never again means something. Oh my God. I don't know if this woman's ever, I don't think she's ever opened a history book. Because if you look at the facilities that we are putting these people in, out of the kindness of our heart, because we have no choice, because Washington can't seem to get any of their stuff straight on the border. Because, you got the liberals that are just completely refusing. They are being true obstructionists when it comes to our border security. In every way, shape, and form of that word. That is what they are doing. They are obstructing our border security, our national security, because they refuse to do something about this border. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so Miss Cortez, this freaking, we're gonna call her a rocket surgeon, because she's a bright one. She must not have ever seen images from Auschwitz, Belzec, Dachau, Treblinka. Has she ever seen Any documentaries on World War II? Probably not. She doesn't seem that well educated at all. At all. This is a girl who supposedly went to college to study economics and doesn't know how, like, a tax incentive works for a place like Amazon. She thinks that it's actual cash. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice in the home of the free is extraordinarily disturbing, and we need to do something about it, she said. This is what we're dealing with. This is why we can't get nothing done in Washington, because there are extremists like her in our government. I thanks, New York. Thanks. Appreciate it. Seems y'all really know how to vote them in. But even people in New York are trying to figure out how to get her removed. You know, people are sick of her. But this is what we're dealing with. This is the mindset of the Democrats that actually could solve this problem. You know, the people that have the authority to solve the border problem think like this. That is just completely, it's a ludicrous thing to say. I think anybody who's Jewish should be just going slam off on her for that comment. Anybody that's Jewish in this, that lives in this country and is a proud American, should be going crazy, whether you're on the left or the right. That was something that she went way too far. She crossed the line there. She just showed how much of a moron she can be, and it's sad, because I want her to succeed. I want people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. I want all of them to succeed, because they're our government. And this is what we're dealing with. We have a real, honest-to-goodness problem. And this is what she's saying about it. She's not worried about the hundreds and thousands that are coming over here. She doesn't care about the trek through the desert and all this, the death, the assaults that are happening while they're on this trek. She doesn't care about none of that. She just cares about the optics and how she can push those optics to fit her narrative. They don't care. The people in Washington do not care about these people. The only thing I take that back. The Democrats do care for one reason. Because they know this will be their new voter group. They know that. This is, Tucker Carlson had a man on, which I can't believe they actually let this guy on, because he was straight, blunt, and to the point about the immigration issue and why the Democrats want those voters. That's what they are. They're trying to change the demographic everywhere because these people will vote to be a Democrat. For a little while they will. But especially when it comes to the more the Spanish immigrants, I hate to tell them, most Spanish people are rather conservative in their values and the way they think, which will end up probably biting them in the butt sooner or later on the Democratic side. But as of right now, yeah, it's like they're pretty much, in poker terms, this would be called stacking the deck. That's what they're doing. They're stacking the deck for their voter base on our dime, on the citizens' dime. This is an outrage. This is a true outrage. I mean, I can't be more blunt to everybody about how we should not be allowing this. We, the people, should not be allowing our government to just sit there at a standstill on the border issue. It should be a bipartisan issue. There's no reason. You want to sit there and say it's a humanitarian crisis? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. I agree. But we're not going to probably agree on how we should deal with it. Not at first. But through debate, we should be able to come up with an agreement. Why can't they do this? I talk to people all the time that are on the political left, and you know what? When we're done talking, we both feel a little bit closer because we figured some stuff out. How come me and Joe Blow down the street can do this, but the people that are actually in charge can't get anything right? Or they just completely refuse to do anything. But love to hear your comments as usual. You know, I don't know what more can be said. This is pathetic. It's pathetic. Our government looks very weak because of this. But what can you do? As long as these people are so anti-Trump, as long as they're on that anti-Trump unhinged bandwagon, they're never going to do anything, even if it makes sense. Even if it truly would help our nation, they're not going to do anything on the Democratic side because my feels. But as always, like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch y'all on the flip side.